Okay, so I'll screen share for a bit and then I'll turn off the screen share. So we should start with these opening prayers. Noa dangla dangwar jepen ja nobar jepen geng darban dan dam je kempen bandun chobar jepa tam je ki son jepe ma namka dang nam pe sem chen tam je dewa dang den doge dan re nyodu lana mepa yanda parzo pejang chub rinpo che to parya. All mother sentient beings, limitless as space, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and omniscience. May they experience happiness, be free from suffering, and swiftly may they attain precious, unsurpassed, perfectly complete enlightenment. All mother sentient beings, limitless as space, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and omniscience. May they experience happiness, be free from suffering, and swiftly may they attain precious, unsurpassed, perfectly complete enlightenment. Nonde chedu sama gyekin badu lunga yisum gewa la kul mashi badu lunga yisum gewa la ko dude rene zungte nima sangda sanggin badu lunga yisum gewa la kul. For that purpose, until I attain Buddhahood, I will apply my body, speech, and mind to virtue. Until death, I will apply my body, speech, and mind to virtue. From today until this time tomorrow, I will apply my body, speech, and mind to virtue. Noan Zhangzhu Nimbur Jikin Ba Sangye Namla Kyabsu Chi Chodan Zhangzhub Semba Yi Sola Ang De Jing Gyabsu Chi Jinda Gongin De Shenki Zhangzhub Dunin Gemba Dan Zhajun Zembe Lamba La Deda Rim Jine Batan De Jin Jola Pendundu Zhangzhou Seni Gyegi Jing Dejin Duni Lampa Lang Rimba Jindu Lampar Yi. I take refuge in the Buddhas until attaining the essence of awakening. Likewise, I take refuge in the Dharma and in the assembly of the Bodhisattvas. Just as the Buddhas of the past gave rise to bodhicitta and progressed along the Bodhisattva's path, so shall I give rise to bodhicitta for the benefit of all beings and practice the stages of the Bodhisattva's path. I take refuge in the Buddhas until attaining the essence of awakening. Likewise, I take refuge in the Dharma and in the assembly of the Bodhisattvas. Just as the Buddhas of the past gave rise to bodhicitta and progressed along the Bodhisattva's path, so shall I give rise to bodhicitta for the benefit of all beings and practice the stages of the Bodhisattva's path. Noa Sangye Chodan Tsogye Chonam La Jangzhu Bardun Dagni Kyabsu Chin Dangi Jinzon Gyembe Sunam Gyan Jola Pensir Sangye Drupar Shung. Until awakening, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merit of generosity and the other perfections, may I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings. Until awakening, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merit of generosity and the other perfections, may I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings. No ma nam ka dang nam be sem chen tam chen dewa dang dewe gyu dan dembar gyur jin dungel dan dungel gi gyu dan drel war gyur chin dungel me be dewa dan min drel war gyur chin niring chak dan nin dan drewe tong nam la ne par gyur chin. May all mother sentient beings, limitless as space, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they not be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. May all mother sentient beings, limitless as space, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they not be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. Now we'll do this mandala. No lingji jigden ramjam gyusam jo ramjam gyanzo jingi jorpet so malu lo yi lande bulag na denen jokun tukje jungdu so daglu longcho dangba chi chi dam bungam gechen jelun dun ma che dagdu jungwen gompor gyurse kun bulgin danjin jiwar jinji lam ngodang omin dale yongjol jing gengak nesum jon takche ki minsen lede nelu mandal chol bulwe sangye topar jinji lam nuam guru devanda kini radna mandala tratishta soha. An infinite array of worlds, each with the four continents and the wealth of infinite oceans of realms. If I bring them all to mind and offer them without exception, please hold with compassion all the beings they contain. My body, enjoyments, and whatever I own, my aggregates, elements, and sense sources, my aspirations now and in times to come, as well as everything I grasp as mine. By offering them all, may I be blessed with the end of self-grasping, completely liberated from the bounds of real and unreal, transcending the names and attributes of arising, cessation, and abiding, coming and going, affirmation and denial. The supreme mandala is the natural state. When I offer it, bless me to attain the state of Buddhahood. Om Guru Devada Kini Ratna Mandala Praticha Soha. And then no semche namki sambada lo yi je jon jin tawar che chun du mon demba yi chogi kor lo kor du sola. Please turn the wheel of Dharma of the greater, lesser, and common vehicles according to the dispositions and mental capacities of sentient beings. Okay, now. Okay, so let's talk about this refuge prayer. I mean, this section of refuge. I'll screen share the text when we get into it. And actually, there was a few, there's always a few, uh, what do you say, errors in the text as far as spelling and some grammar stuff that's been pointed out to me. So I updated the text even though it just went out. So later you can actually download the newer version that has, there was like 5 or 6 little errors in there. Nonetheless, I'll screen share the newer one when it comes on. So first, we'll set the intention of the lineage. And then I'll say one short prayer to Organ Rigzin Nuden Dorje. Gyangarn Jungbe Yunani Gyoni Rixin Trisinga Guru Pema Jangi O Toksen Angdin Zingzampo Dirden Drola Palbarang Zodon Zimbe Senyi Yam Pema Johnson Sesun Drak Shinje Shedan Nampa Yin Orgin Noden Dorje Yin Chonba Ramdo Nangwa Guru Chemja Kero Kan Dandar Dodi Nidula Loma Duba Nala Ni Tugje Nasor Jinji Loma. Okay, so refuge. Nundro. What is the point? So the first Zoom we just did an overview of kind of the life of Organ Rigzenuden Dorje. I won't go over that this time. If you missed that and you wish to have access to the teaching, just send me a request and I can send you a link to the video. I think everybody here has already been exposed multiple times to teachings on refuge, Nundro, and all of these things. I think not many people here are brand new or relatively new. Nonetheless, we should explain the meaning, at least in an abbreviated way, to keep with kind of traditional protocol and set the intention of the practice. So, refuge, what is it? So, is there anything in life so far we've encountered that is unwavering, completely stable, doesn't abandon one when bad times arise, negative circumstances arise, fluctuations in mental state, and then if you do find something that seems that it can be unwavering and stable and can actually like shelter you from these sort of things that arise and fluctuate in your daily life and cause dissatisfaction. Like, what are they, once you're sheltered and protected, what do they do when you're in that shelter? What do they do when you're in that zone of comfort, even if it's temporarily? So we can find shelter in a house. We can find shelter in comforting words from people. We can find some sort of refuge in material supports, but they're all very temporary. And these things come and go. They fluctuate. And then again, our mind stirs, mixes with concepts, and we go through the same cycles over and over, over and over. So even though this refuge in Dharma, in one way, this is merely kind of an example that we follow. Because really, this refuge in Dharma, that won't give you any material shelter. Well, maybe if you join a monastery and sign away your autonomy to doing whatever they need. Nonetheless, that's only material refuge, right? In the sense of having actual food, shelter, and clothing. But this Dharma that we take refuge in is an example that's been followed for thousands of years. And we have many examples of enlightened masters and beings, gurus, practitioners, great yogis, who have applied the teachings of the Dharma, and we can see that their mind is completely at ease, open, free, loving, caring, compassionate, and generally, we can say on these examples that we have of great teachers that they seem to be unmoved and unwavering during whatever activities they're doing, through years of dedication to the Dharma practice, offering service, leading beings, right? Dealing with thousands of people and guiding them. So like Garchen Rinpoche, for example, that's going to be my always main example. You can look at His Holiness the Dalai Lama. You can look at any great teachers of the past, Dogo Kensei, for example, Dudjom Rinpoche, beings like that. Their mind state remains unwavering. What they offer is completely beneficial. These are all actions and words, or say actions of body, speech, and mind that they contribute to this outer world. And this, even though it's unseen, untouched, I mean, maybe it's seen through tankas or whatnot, but in general, what I mean is like, this is not something super tangible that you can like put over yourself. This is a path, a direction, a formula. It is an entire corpus of sadhana that you incorporate into your life. And by using that, all of these methods, right, of mind transformation on the various levels, this becomes an unseen, ungraspable, intangible sphere of protection that's always around you. And this is actual refuge. This refuge is in the three jewels, Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. And then when we constantly place our mind, our wavering mind, back to this source of refuge, and we truly have like faith, devotion, understanding of the meaning of the words that are said and the practices, then no matter what situation, we have these methods and view and recall to like reset our mind to become open and spacious, less grasping, right, at our condition, at our self, at our problems, at the input of the five senses and how we react. Then even though it's unseen, ungraspable, intangible, nonetheless, this is some kind of great shelter for you, great protection, great place of rest. It's a massive tent in your mind that you can walk into from the turbulence of the outside world, your own negative emotions, uprisings, and whatnot. So we have to understand that there is no physical thing that will give us real refuge. There's no object that will actually, like physical object that will give us refuge. No matter how many tankas we have, no matter how many dharma objects, books we have, no matter how many teachings we have access to, all of that's pretty relative in one sense. We have to apply all of these things, understand the meaning, and use the intent that they were kind of set up to the intent that they were set up to pass on over these hundreds of generations. So, in essence, true refuge is your mind understanding its own condition and coming back to that over and over, over and over. And that's really the only solace we will have in life. As they say in the West, born alone, die alone. Like you're born into this world alone with your body, speech, and mind coming into existence. And when you dissolve, your body, your outer body disconnects. It moves into inner speech energies, and that dissolves into mind. And even though you might be in a room full of people say, I want to die around my family and friends, and at least I didn't die alone. But in the end, you will. There's nothing you can do. That journey is solely you. So the only refuge you have going into that, the only shelter, the only safety, is the resolve that you will come to through practice. So uh, this is why we engage in practice in general, and this is why Nundro starts with uh, refuge. Well, technically, it starts with the outer four thoughts, right? Turning the mind from Dharma. This is the basis. But when we're talking about the four uncommon preliminaries, after you've resolved your mind through the four outer preliminaries, right? Karma, cause, and effect, the suffering of lower births, preciousness of the human body. When you come to resolve and you really understand these things and you have investigated them, at that point, when this realization kicks in, that wow, everything I do has a consequence. I can't escape the laws of cause and effect. It's extremely amazing. I'm in this human body because I understand that the suffering of the six realms, right? I understand that there's no being on this planet that doesn't go through ups and downs, dissatisfaction, and like happiness, joy, pain, torment, sorrow, all of these things. Then when you understand that none of this will liberate you, right? None of these conditions that we have normally. And then you go, wow, how can I get out of this? What is the resolve? Then you connect with Buddhist teachings, right? You take them to heart. Actually, that's refuge already. It's really like you've accepted, right? That these conditions won't liberate you, so you need something else. Then the segue is now formally practicing some form of refuge, whether it's just supplicating Buddha, I take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, and you change your mind that way, or if it's more formal, the way that the Mahayana vehicle does and offers refuge in bodhicitta, or through the Vajrayana refuge, bodhicitta, and Vajrayana vows through all the tantric practices. So, even though we call it Nundro or the preliminary practices, it's not basic at all, right? You've heard that a million times. Nothing basic about it. No foundation to your house, it collapses. You put the structure up on mud, it will sink, right? You need something solid where all of the rest of the practices can unfold, unfurl, stack on top of each other. But in the end, if we don't understand kind of like the basis of why we practice, then it just becomes parroting words and there'll be some imprints that are good and maybe you'll have a chance of changing some things, but like this deep seated kind of heartfelt yearning and understanding that your condition needs to be resolved, that might not be there. So like these foundations are really important in that sense. Okay, I'll screen share the text and then we'll get into the actual text here. Let's see. All right, you're all liberated now. You saw Padmasambhava. Okay, so I won't go over the entire section of refuge because you can read most of the words, but I'll go through a few parts that are kind of important and the general meaning. So first, we'll talk about the title of the cycle, right? And so, Deshek Sasam Kundu Lama Tukdrup Dechen Nyingpo Nundro. Embodiment of the Sugatas of the three roots. So, Sugatas are those gone to bliss. This is talking about the Buddhas, enlightened beings, right? You can say bodhisattvas as well, but in general, Buddhas are the Sugatas. The Sugatas of the three roots are the enlightened Guru, Yidam, and Dakini. So those are the Sugatas of the three roots. Who is the embodiment of that? That is Guru Rinpoche, Padmasambhava. Guru Rinpoche is the embodiment of all Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, all Yidams, all Dakinis, and all Gurus. So when it says the embodiment of the Sugatas of the three roots, this is speaking to Guru Rinpoche, Padma Jungne. And this whole cycle of teachings is called the mind accomplishment, or you can say the heart practice. There's a few ways you could translate it, like the mind accomplishment of the guru. You accomplish the guru's mind to the practice, and if you accomplish that, that is the essence of great bliss, right? So this is the meaning of the title. This is called, the name of this particular nunjo is the stages of the path of the preliminaries, the Vajra staircase, the secret matrix of five lights. So what is this Vajra staircase? This is our mind, purifying our mind through the stages, through these kind of preliminary practices. And every time you do a practice, a stage of practice, let's say theoretically we get the fruit of the practice that purifies one aspect, then the next purifies another aspect and another, and this is like a staircase moving up to a goal. Vajra staircase, Vajra because your mind is ultimately this Vajra nature. Once you gain this realization, this will not like full realization of these things, it will not break, it will not crumble. Even if it's not complete enlightenment, your next life, these seeds will ripen again. So they're kind of, it will not break, you know. Eventually it will re-emerge because you've planted the seed. This is the Vajra staircase, going up until like release. Secret matrix of five lights. This can be translated a few ways also. It can be like the secret web, the secret network, but matrix kind of has the connotation of all things being connected and playing within, dancing within each other, all interconnected, right? And this matrix of five lights is talking about the wisdom awareness of your own mind. It's secret because we've not seen it before. So, especially in the Dzogchen teachings, this five lights, the ground nature, Dong, Ropa, and Sol, essence, nature, and compassion, all of Karak, Lundrup, it will tie into all of that eventually. So this is the title. This first script here, right here, this is the Dakini script that was seen by Rigzin Orgyen Nuden Dorje, that was given to him, whether it was an earth terma or a mind terma, I don't recall on this particular text actually. But this is the Dakini script that was revealed to him. There's no, I don't have a interpretation for it because who am I to read a Dakini script? Nonetheless, I included it in here because it's in the original text. All right, so anytime you see script like this, there's only one or two places actually in this text, maybe only this place. But when you see other Nyingma tantras or sadhanas or whatnot, and you see this kind of strange looking script that's Tibetan but not, this is the writing of the Dakinis. And essentially how it works is a Turtan will see this script, whether it's on earth terma, like on paper, in their mind, or through a vision. And immediately upon seeing the Dakini script, they can decipher an entire cycle. So you can think of it as this script here, when seen by the great Rigzin Orgyen Nuden Dorje, through his past karmic imprints of being many great incarnations and having the kind of intent of the Terma teachings planted in his heart, he recalled this entire teaching immediately and wrote it down. So it's sort of like a condensed, right? It's like add water to the soup cube and it makes a giant bowl of soup. That's what this is. All right. So then we have an opening preamble, right? Namo Guru Deva Dakini. This is the intent of the whole cycle, actually. Every enlightened action of all victorious ones are united in Padmasambhava. All the beings of Tibet and Kham shall be ripened. The whole world, actually, but at that time, right? All the beings of Tibet and Kham shall be ripened, liberated, and established in great awakening. In the future, fortunate disciples will spontaneously accomplish their own and others' benefit, accumulate merit, purify obscuration, and actualize awakening. Om Samaya Jia Jia Jia. So yeah, actually, people in Kham didn't consider themselves part of Tibet proper in one way. Like Kham was always seen as like we're Kampas, so that's why it's all beings of Tibet and Kham. Okay, we'll look at this first part, and then we'll jump around a bit. Uh, so this is straightforward, right? At the outset, you should serve the gurus who hold the lineage of blessings. This is just go to your root guru, whoever that is, you know. And in the end, in the Nyingma schools, uh, everything traces back to Guru Rinpoche. So even if you don't have a super strong connection to like a living guru right now, it doesn't matter so much. You can go back to the essence of Guru Rinpoche, Padmasambhava, and feel that there's an unbroken lineage going back to this great being. And Guru Rinpoche said, you know, if you pray to me, especially during sunrise and sunset, you do the 7 line prayer. Like he said, my blessings will be there. Like I will be there with you. Like it's a promise from Guru Rinpoche. So even though we don't have the karmic, we haven't purified enough of our veils to maybe feel, but definitely not see, but even feel Guru Rinpoche's presence, the promise that he made was he will be there every time his prayer is said. So the gurus who hold the lineage, who reveal the path to enlightenment, right? By pleasing them with the 3 types of service, this is of body, speech, and mind. Abandon busyness, distraction, and laziness to the best of our abilities, right? We all live in the modern era. So you do what you have to do to have a roof over your head and eat and not be completely destitute, uh, living on the street unless you're a high level Mahasiddha and you can actually handle that. You take care of yourself. You do what you need to do throughout the day. And so, busyness, distraction, and laziness, I would say, let's call that after we accomplish the things we need to do for the day, right? You have time when you get off work. You might be tired. That's up to you if you want to perpetuate this energy of being tired and this bakchakan habit. You can kind of fight through that, right? That's one of the mental factors to be abandoned and overcome. Actually, is laziness, sleep, distraction, these kind of things. So you have time, even if you have 30 minutes, 1 hour, whatever it is, you have a chunk of time. It's do you choose to use it or not? This is completely up to you. So during your chunks of free time, this is when you apply your mind to the teachings of the Dharma, right? Yeah, ultimately, if we can abandon all kinds of things and have more time, that's the best. But in general, abandon busyness, distraction, and laziness. All right. So in your free time, you really should do your best to accomplish the intent and aim of a Dharma practice. Otherwise, you'll end up like me and go down a death scroll of YouTube watching people raise grizzly bears from a young age and other animals that I wish I had. Uh, Reject the 8 worldly concerns as if they were poison. Straightforward. Strive to accomplish positive actions and reject negative aspects of cause and effect. This is just guarding your mind throughout the day, basically, right? Take up residence in isolated places where there are no people. Good luck with that. But at least we can stay in our room at least. At that moment, that's an isolated place without people. In the practice of acting in accord with the Dharma, first lay out as many representations of the 3 jewels as possible. So basically, set up your space so what you see visually, what you hear, what you smell, right? They're like incense if you don't have an allergy. Seeing images that your visual input will take imprints of Dharma. If you have a mantra playing in your retreat space, you take imprints through your ear. If you have incense burning, there's sacred substances. You take imprints through your sense of smell. Basically, you're just trying to re-imprint your mind, right? This is like laying out representations. Just make the imprint as deep as possible. Then arrange as many elaborate offerings. Seven offerings, the outer, inner, secret offerings, whatever, a giant bowl of fruit, whatever you want. You even if you can't afford anything, like a peanut, something, a mental offering. Like get into the habit of giving to the three jewels, which means like you find those beings worthy of offering something to. We have no problem tipping people when we go out to eat. We have no problem paying a toll on the road when we drive. We don't, well, we complain, but we pay taxes, state, local, federal, without much of an issue. We just let go and do it. So then when it comes to Dharma, why can't we just offer something, you know? We offer something. If this is gonna liberate you, like, why do you have no problem tipping somebody, but you can't put an offering on your altar, you know, like that. Okay. Then rest on a comfortable seat and or uncomfortable if you're into that kind of thing. But comfortable seat and relax your body. Okay. It says a 7 point posture of Vairochana. Just sit upright. You know all these things already. Just sit upright, you know. Don't slouch completely. Like if you basically don't be like lazy and lethargic in your sitting. If you need to rest against the wall, rest against the wall. If you need a chair, you need a chair. If you need a backrest, you need a backrest. If you don't, you don't. Know your body, but don't be lazy when you sit, basically. Okay. Then we'll go briefly through these four thoughts. Everybody has already recollected on these many times. So common preliminaries. Before we start the inner nundra, right, we go to the common preliminaries. Our motivation is set, our space is conducive, we've taken time out, we've established a relationship with the Dharma through prayer and whatnot. You can add your opening prayers, Refuge, Bodhicitta. It doesn't have it in here, right? But you add Refuge, Bodhicitta, whatever you want. 7 line prayer, round of mantras to Guru Rinpoche, even whatever aspiration prayers you want. You can customize this in a certain way, you know? This is just kind of the bare bones that's in here. They're already assuming that you know this because this is coming from a culture that's all they do. So like they don't need to reiterate in every sadhana. Like when it says in some sadhanas, offer from offer from Argam, you know? Like you should just you've practiced so much your whole life, Argam, Padyam, Pushpam. You don't need they don't need to insert everything, right? Okay, anyway. First, reflect on the difficulty of attaining the freedoms and advantages of being human, right? You can read this later, but youth should contemplate that, you know, if you haven't already. I'm sure you have. Just contemplate being a human, even if you don't accept other realms, other planets, other dimensions. Like, look at this planet. You could maybe you've accepted like the continuity of your mind. If you have, then that means you've accepted re-emanation. Maybe we won't call it rebirth, but like re your mind just emanates forever into different forms, different holographic illusions. So maybe you'll be an ant next time. Maybe you'll be a human. Who knows? So think about how fortunate. How many ants are just in an ant pile outside of your yard, in your whatever, where you're near, more than the population of your state, you know? Second, inspire yourself with the thought of impermanence. This is straightforward. What do you have that's the same, that never changed? Ah, the secret of Padmasambhava's mind, your mind, right? But we didn't accept it yet. So everything else shifts and changes. There's no stability in anything. Cause and effect. Is there anything that falls outside of cause and effect? Investigate, you know? If you find something that falls outside cause and effect, truly, like if you really find that, yeah, maybe there is, then send me an email. That would be nice to know. But generally, everything, cause and effect. You throw a rock at somebody's car while they're driving, they get injured, you go to jail. And that's it. That's cause and effect. Some people can't accept cause and effect from past lives, you know. It's like I don't think of past lives. Why? Because you don't remember it. But do you remember when you were 2 years old? Maybe you do, probably not though. Or how about when you were one? Do you remember clearly? What if you were 1 years old and uh, you ate some poison, small doses of poison, and nobody found out, and then 30 years later you go to the doctor and they say, "Oh, you have this problem. It's manifesting because this is in your body." And you'll say, "What? I never did that." You don't remember. Nonetheless, cause and effect. So just because you can't remember doesn't mean it didn't happen, you know. This is you can investigate when time starts and stops, and is there a past, present, and future? Is there a beginning? Is there an end? Nonetheless, even though you don't know, cause and effect takes place. We can see it on big scale, small scale, harder to see. Defects of samsara. It's again, you know, you can six realms, right? Think about even just animals on this planet and like the lack of imagine even being like a dog, for example. Okay, kind of nice in America. You're a dog that's treated well. But imagine trying to, we can communicate as humans, right? We have this like a very advanced form of communication in the animal species. Words, symbols, signs, meanings. We can kind of get exactly what we want, even on a basic level. Excuse me, can you hand me like can you go to the kitchen and just give me 3 grains of salt, you know? If somebody was willing to do that for you, they could. A dog, even though we understand they want food in the end, like they, it's just bark, 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 bark. You know? Okay, generally, you know, but like the very specific form of communication is difficult, right? So with that specific form of communication and all the nuances, then we can investigate, go deep, check out many angles. It creates this world, but it can release you from this world because you can untie every knot. Every knot can be untied because you made the knots with all of these concepts. Okay, so that's it. You investigate these 4 thoughts. You can spend whatever amount of time you want on this, you know. You could do that as a whole retreat for a month. You can do it for 1 minute on each one. You can do it 5 minutes on each one. I'm not, when I go through this Nundro text, I'm not talking about time or numbers or anything. This is completely up to your circumstance and situation. If you have a lot of time to practice, great. If you don't, also okay, you apply as you can. I'm simply offering this as to make connection to the lineage. And if you have inspiration to practice, this is completely on you. All right. So now the actual refuge. And like I said, we'll just go over a couple parts of this. Or if we do, we'll go over it quick. But there's only a few parts that I really want to like point out. So this and yeah, download the new text later because there's probably a few mistakes. Sorry, you know, what can I say? It's not so, I'm not the best editor. Thankfully there's some people that reached out, you know. Okay, refuge. The space before you is spacious, blissful and smooth, and studded with many jewels. There are Bodhi trees, bathing pools, and lotus groves. In the center, in an expansive ocean of merit, in the very center of that, its fruit, the supreme wish-fulfilling tree of wisdom. Okay, this wording right here is really beautiful and points to something very deep. Most nundros are going to have very similar wording, right? So it's nothing actually super new in this text, right? However, this particular wording is kind of unique. So usually we think, okay, there's a refuge tree that it's like in front of us and it talks about you know, like it's in the middle of a lake or it's in the middle of space. It doesn't go much into detail other than that. This is like quite deep. It says in the center, because usually it says in the center of an ocean, of a lake, or like on a beautiful realm, right? But this is telling you exactly what that is. It's not an ocean, actual ocean, right? They use that imagery, right? Everything is teaching through image, right? You can teach mind to mind, signs, or word. It's like teaching through signs and image. In the center of an expansive ocean of merit. Where is this ocean of merit located? It's located nowhere. This is the seeds of your mind that ripen. It's expansive, it's never ending. It's your merit that you've accumulated through past times that ripens, right? And the center of that, this is the fruit of your own karma and actions. The ripening merit arises as the supreme wish-fulfilling tree of wisdom. This tree of wisdom, here it's the tree of refuge. They say tree, why? Because it sprouts, it arises through seeds that were planted. And how we visualize this refuge tree, everything we're visualizing and bringing to mind is our images of beings, objects, and the intent of realization. So this is the wish-fulfilling tree of wisdom. It arose from your own merit. It means your ability to even connect with the teachings and think of it and hold on to it as meaningful. In the midst of the space of your own mind, when you recall that, that is a great, that's the field of refuge, you know. You're going to that over and over. So it's not a physical thing, actually. This is like your own recall of these qualities and what's available to you through the lineage, right? Okay, then it goes on. We don't have to read every part of this. Like the trunk, the branches, supported by jewel, like lions, elephants, peacocks. All of these things have meaning. We can go over it at some other point. But essentially, everything is a symbol of awakened mind, right? So the main point, or like kind of the main image, if you do nothing else in the refuge, right? If you have only one object of focus, it's this. Upon the seat of lotus, sun, and moon sits the root guru, the embodiment of all sources of refuge. Okay? So this can be either your own root guru who you have a connection with, who is not separate from, right? The Mahaguru of Odiyana Padmasambhava. So your root guru and Padmasambhava, you see them as inseparable. If it's easier to visualize your root guru, that's fine. You can even visualize that root guru with like Padmasambhava in their heart. Or you can visualize Padmasambhava with your own root guru in their heart. Or you can just visualize Padmasambhava. Whatever like makes you comfortable in that sense. Here, I will just say it as this. Basically, the embodiment of all sources of refuge, the ultimate, like the root guru of all root gurus, right? The Mahaguru, the great guru, Padmasambhava, right? This is in the center of your welling up this like vision in your mind. Even if you don't visualize all the details, a tree with jewels and silks and thrones and all of this, at least you just recall and bring up Guru Rinpoche, right? In front of you, in the space before you, right? On the crown of your head, whatever. You just recall Guru Rinpoche, the presence of Padmasambhava. All right, and it says right here. Okay, it goes over how he looks, right? It's very standard. White, tinge of red. This is pointing at the union of the male and female elements, full of vigorous energy, or full of energy, right? Youthful energy, completely radiant. Here, you, the lotus who empowers and liberates upon sight. This has the correct sight. The text had an error before. Sight. Different type of sight. You, the lotus who empowers and liberates upon sight. To you I pray. This liberates upon sight. It's right here. This pangdrol. There's 6 modes of liberation in Nyingma Tantras. Liberation through hearing, smelling, seeing, tasting, touching, and upon sight. Right? Tagdrol is what you wear. Sometimes you get amulets. Liberation upon wearing. Tagdrol. Liberation upon touch. Garchen Rinpoche puts inside the bracelets A'a Shasahama. Right? The 6 seed syllables in Dzogchen for the 6 realms. And the purification. Liberation by touch. Doesn't mean you will be completely awakened unless your seeds of merit are so vast you're one of those instantaneous realizers. What it means is once one of those seeds has been planted, even unknowingly, There's no choice but to be swiftly connected with the Dharma and hence liberated going forward. No chance. Because everything creates imprints, no matter how subtle, even if you don't remember them or know them. Just like the 2-year-old or 1-year-old who ate poison, he doesn't know. Nonetheless, cause and effect. Okay. So you, the lotus who empowers and liberates upon sight. Why is he the one who empowers? Empowers you to know your own mind through the methods of Padmasambhava. This is real empowering. Empowering you to be a sovereign, the sovereign of your own dimension, which is the same dimension everybody else has, no different. This is what you're being empowered to, and liberates upon sight. Once you saw an image of Padmasambhava, no chance. Sorry, it's over, you know. And same with any other image. Once you see any, even worldly image, you're actually, this imprint's there. You can go to that. But that image is a loop. It just loops you. Dharma images release you. Why? Because they have the code and the keys inside their sadhana, inside that path that tells you this is not even real. The real thing, unwavering, is this ultimate Guru Rinpoche, right? The nature of your mind known that doesn't cease, knowing your ground condition without breaking it ever. Samanta Bhadra, right? Okay, then we're not going to go to everything. He goes through all, it's all the implements, right? He's seated like this. Then we'll just touch it a few things, right? Above the guru are the three kayas stacked. It doesn't give specifics here. Those three kayas, right, are, again, we have Guru Rinpoche. So even though you're visualizing Guru Rinpoche, you still have the three kayas. So Guru Rinpoche, in this tradition, Amitayus, many times it's Amitabha, or Chenrezig here, Amitayus, Amitayu, however you want to say it. And above that, Samanta Bhadra, Kuntuzampo, Yabyum. You have these three stacked. And this practice, the cycle, those are the three kayas we practice. Outer, inner, and secret. The outer form of Padmasambhava, as the yidam in this practice, is Hayagriva. The inner is Amitayus, and ultimate secret is Samantabhadra. Okay. He is, okay, blah, blah, blah. Cedar and Vajra, not blah, blah, blah. It's disrespectful. Forgive me, right? Not blah, blah, blah. Above the crown of the Guru Three Kayas, an ocean of Vidyadharas and Siddhas from India and Tibet. Not specific. You can think of all the Vidyadharas of India. These are the 8 great teachers connected with the 8 Kage deities, right? Guru Rinpoche, Sri Singha, Manjushri Metta, uh, how do you say? I don't even know all of them. Who am I? Nagarjuna, right? And so on and so forth. Siddhas of Tibet, like 84 Mahasiddhas, right? Just all of the great teachers, right? My mind shuts down when I have to talk. All right, so above that to the right and the left, right? Janasagara. Oh no, that's Secret Dakini. Janasagara is Yeshusogyo. Okay, you go look up 8 Vidyadharas of Tibet. Above to the right and left in all directions, an expanse of 5-colored light. This is gets deeper later in Dzogchen teachings. Why are we always in an expanse of 5-colored light? Actually, it has a super deep meaning. Gurus of the 9 yanas. So 9 yanas is like a Nyingma thing, right? You have like Kriya, Upa, Charya, Maha, Anu, or a Kriya. Oh, you have how do you say? Theravadan vehicle, Mahayana vehicle, Kriya, Upa, Charya, right? Maha, Anu, uh, Maha, Anu, Ati, Dzogchen, like all the different vehicles stacked up, right? Okay. Uh, then you have the Buddhas of past, present, and future. Dipamkara, Maitreya, Shakyamuni. This is Buddhas of past, present, and future. Then Scriptures of the three vehicles, right? Clearly resounding with Ali Kali. This is all standard to refuge. Then to the left, to your left, right? Then you have the eight bodhisattvas. Manjughosha, Avalokiteshvara, Vajrapani, Siddhigarbha, Sarvani, Varana, Nishkambina, Garbha, Maitreya, Samantabhadra. Not the same as Kuntuzampo, the Bodhisattva Samantabhadra. Okay, it tells you how they look. You just read through that. Then you have in the front of you on a lotus, sun, and moon, and four maras, you have the outer yidam, or yeah, you can say this, like the yidam practice of this cycle. It's Hayagriva and Vajravarahi Yabyum. Okay, this is the outer sadhanas are all connected here with Hayagriva Vajravarahi. All right. They are surrounded by the eight Kage deities. Again, this is connected with the eight Vidyadharas of Tibet. Okay, or India. Sorry, the eight Vidyadharas of India. All right, so they're surrounded. Hayagriva is surrounded by the eight Kage deities and all the Vidyadhara gurus. Right, these are specifically the Vidyadhara gurus connected with the eight deities. Host of yidams of the nine yanas and four tantras. This means the Nyingma school and the Sarma school, right? As well as all the, dakas, dakinis, kimkaras, different classes of beings, right? Below them in all the directions, now you have, in the very below, you have Mahakala, Sri Devi, and a collection of Oat-Brown protectors. This includes Ekajari, Rahula, Dorje Legpa, right? Mahakala and Sri Devi are kind of the oldest of all the protectors. They're found throughout all lineages and all cycles. So if you're going to practice one protector with complete confidence, Mahakala is in every school, every sect, going back from the very beginning. And here it's a bit unique in this sadhana. It says, in the sky, in that vast expanse of rainbow light is the goddess of Amrita, Dutsi Lamo, right? Who offers a stream of ablution. This is a particular. It's like there we have Amrita Kundali, who is a deity when we do a lot of practice. We say Om Vadra Amrita Kundali Hana Hana Hum Pet. This is the mantra to Vadra Amrita Kundali, who is the deity of kind of great blessing, purification, and scattering of Amrita, right? We have outer, inner, and secret Amritas. So this is like the female form, Dutsi Lamo, who offers a stream of ablution. To who? To everybody. This Dutsi Lamo is blessing the entire kind of visualization, the ground, everywhere, outer, inner, and secret. You just feel like this Dutsi Lamo, the goddess of great blessings, of great Amrita, is kind of blessing you, your environment, the field of refuge, like everybody, right? Then it says, well, goddesses of space, kind of these are the offering goddesses, make offerings unbound in the sky, right? They're just like floating, flying through space unbound. They have no restriction on where they can go. And it says, and the ground is perfumed with the scent of flowers. So it means like everywhere, outer, inner, secret, yourself, the refuge field, in space, on the ground, just everything is like perfectly arrayed, right? When you go through the visualization of refuge. And then here is another part that's quite profound. A lot of a lot of refuge or a lot of refuge sections and nunjas don't use words like this. It says all of this is not created by the mind that analyzes, all right? It means you recall it, you bring it up, and even though we can say we're creating it, right? Don't get trapped in the idea of this is a concept. Because why? How can it arise in the first place? By you thinking it, right? You read words, those words trigger images. How can that happen? Feeling, emotion, comfort or displeasure, right? But here, let's hopefully comfort. Words trigger images which have vibrance. How? This is really pointing that your mind has unlimited, amazing potential. In Dzogchen, we talk about Karak Lundrup, or we say This basis has three qualities: essence, nature, and compassion. Conceptually is a knot we're tied up in that causes stress because we think it's real. When you understand the illusory like nature of the play of things, you can be at ease. This is talking about the dynamic potency and potential of your mind. It's not created by a mind that analyzes or conceptualizes. It's the spontaneous, natural possibility that arises from the emptiness of your condition. It's great that your mind can express itself. Right now, we express in ways that are convoluted. But imagine when this expression is like pure radiance. This is what all of these things are pointing at. So it says one's own pure mind. Well, okay, it says it in the next sentence, kind of, right? One's own pure mind. You could insert commentary. Your own pure mind, which is not conceptual mind, which means your awareness that is stripped away from reifying things and recognizes itself, right? That in and of itself is the primordial, unborn, right? Uncreated realm or space of or where the three kayas are naturally manifest, arising in and of themselves. And that is timeless. It has no beginning and no end. Eternal, right? Again, timeless, right? Timeless, eternal. And all pervasive. There's no boundary to it. Does your mind have a boundary? Right now we think it does. Or we think our experience has a boundary. It does not have a boundary. We're conditioned to feeling a boundary, right? This is why great beings like Garchen Rinpoche, they can literally, like not just him, but like really they can read your mind. They know your intent, right? They know who you are. They can apply things to you very specifically. Why? They have no boundary. You have no boundary either. That's why they can cross field. Right now we're like this. We're bubbles. Bong. My mind, your mind. This is what we think. Then as you loosen up, right? Like you can connect with another mind. They don't recognize it still. They don't recognize. But that mind opens up. And then that can read you can say like read the contents of another mind. Now when two great minds merge and come together, right? There's nothing stopping them. Just it's all mingling. Then imagine like this awareness and that awareness, it mingles. Then imagine your awareness, my awareness, another awareness, it all mingles. This is why it says there's some misinterpretation in translation sometimes. When in Samantha Bhadra's prayer, when it says one ground, two path, two fruitions, or it says one mind, you hear one mind a lot, one mind. It doesn't mean one mind as in there's only one mind. Because if there's one mind, it means if you gain liberation, why is everybody else not liberated? If there's just one mind, it cannot work that way. It means one essence of the ground of mind. Your essence, your ground, his ground, her ground, my ground, their ground, an ant's ground, a reptile's ground, a disembodied being's ground. The ground of mind is the same. When you relinquish concepts, the mingling of those grounds is unrestricted. However, your awakening, your awareness, right? And not in the concept of grasping it like me, myself, and I. It means like, why are there 1,000 different Buddhas? Because a bodhisattva made an aspiration prayer, for example. This is how it's explained. A bodhisattva made an aspiration prayer. When I gain enlightenment, I will like Tara. When I gain complete enlightenment, I will manifest in this form for beings to be liberated and awakened by following these things. So then, in the field of enlightenment, there's no gender, there's no embodiment, but that Buddha, that being who awakened, their aspiration manifests as like a code that can be seen through karmic vision, right? So there's differences in path, in sadhana, and method, but in the end, the ground is the same, and it has no boundary. So this is what it means, like all pervasive, like the sun. Okay. Then we move on to the seven branch prayer, right? In front of us who bring to mind the Buddha, may the infinite victorious ones appear directly. Likewise, by the power of your mind, consider us closely. From the all-pervasive primordial. Oh, why is it like saying us? Because when we take refuge, we always take refuge with like we're all beings are around us, you know? Our enemies, our mothers, our family, our friends, like it's not just us taking refuge, even though we're in our room just taking refuge and doing this practice. We imagine everybody with us, the entire universe actually, and we all take refuge together. In front of us who bring to mind the Buddha, right? May the infinite victorious ones appear directly. Likewise, by the power of your wisdom mind, consider us closely. We're praying to the refuge field that we've generated. From the all-pervasive, primordially pure space, please hear our invocation to your unceasing play of compassion. For the sake of those to be trained, please come to this illusory array. Be seated on a lotus and moon disk seat, free from the extremes of existence and peace. Now, this doesn't have like Zahum Bamho and all that, but this is essentially like you're inviting the wisdom beings to come to this like display. It's the same meaning. And then you accumulate three times. So, and some of this I did not put the phoneticized Tibetan on every section. On the things that need to be chanted, I put it for those who want to chant it in Tibetan. Uh, so you either chant or you chant both if you want to connect, right? So you can chant this in Tibetan, Gosam Rabugu Dangwe Kyang Chaksal, right? Which is this, longer in English, right? I prostrate with my body, speech, and mind with great devotion and faith. I present outer, inner, and secret offerings like the magical, illusory play of Samantabhadra. I confess my downfalls, transgressions, my confusion and regret, all with intense remorse. I rejoice in the purity of total liberation from samsara and nirvana. Please turn the wheel of the secret mantra, great vehicle of ripening and liberating. I pray that you remain until samsara is emptied. All the virtue I have accumulated throughout the three times, I dedicate to the state of great awakening so that all beings, my infinite mothers, may attain Buddhahood in the space of the primordial protector, Samantabhadra. Okay. So you repeat that three times, at least one time, repeat that, right? Okay, here it says in the end. Yeah, so it's visualizing the objects of refuge in space above. In front of me are enemies and harm doers, body spirits, land spirits, spirits of sleep that disrupt your sleep, etc., etc. It basically just means all beings that like cause disturbance, right? In front of you. To your right are the physical forms of your family, right? And finally, the six kinds of beings who dwell or to your right and left are your family, and then finally all the six realms of beings are behind you. Okay, so we're taking refuge with everybody, and this also kind of is a method uh, to break feeling separate. Right, we have to stop thinking about just like when we do the opening prayers from the Drikonkagi. Right, it's like all mother sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me. You can think of like just beings that cause disturbance, or maybe even that you disturb. Right, like it's like you're also one of those beings that causes disturbance. In somebody's refuge prayer, you're in front, you know. In somebody's refuge prayer, you're on the right and left because you're family, right? And in somebody's refuge prayer, you're behind. Just kind of general six classes of beings. Definitely to somebody we disturb. They put us in front in the refuge prayer, you know. So we remember that. All of us gather here, prostrate and recite these words of refuge in a loud voice. We offer our body, speech, and mind to the three jewels. With a fervent wish to know what we hope for in this and future lives, we pray to you not just with our mouth, but uh, with our entire, that should be our entire being. I need to change that. Okay. We pray to you not just with our mouth, right? But with our entire being. Both of those are incorrect. You're good. With our mouth, okay? We're supplicating from the depth of our heart. And then if you want to do prostrations, you do here, you say this prayer while accumulating prostrations. Okay? You say this prayer while accumulating prostrations. Or you just visualize prostrations, or you do one prostration. You do whatever your capacity is, right? So you just repeat this over and over while you do prostrations. You can time it where it's one prayer with one prostration, or if you're a speed reader, you can say it a few times while you do a prostration. Or if you do super fast prostrations, maybe you won't get through it in one prayer, you know. Doesn't matter. Just say it while you do prostrations. Right? Namo, Lord Buddha, leader of sentient beings, the thousand Buddhas who have reached the peace of non-attachment, the sacred Dharma of the three vehicles, and the field of merit, the noble Sangha, and the three jewels I take refuge, in the Guru, source of all blessings, in the Yiram deity, root of all cities, and in the Dakas, Dakinis, and Dharma protectors who dispel all obstacles. I take refuge until I attain enlightenment. Okay? So this is how you take refuge, holding that visualization, or at minimum, feeling that that field of refuge is there. At best, the best is at least you feel Guru Rinpoche is there with you, right, while you're taking refuge. So, I'm sorry, you say this 3 times, actually. Yeah, you don't accumulate this one. I'm sorry. This is you just say 3 times. This is the one you accumulate here. It's shorter. Okay? Which is quite profound, actually, because this is giving you the entire view of Ati Yoga and Dzogchen here. It says in Tibetan, right? Golon dalkyab chokyo dejin ni rangjin nunjum longchu dzogpe ku. Tugje tsolme no tsok chulpe ku kusum lame tsokla kyabsu chi. In the all-pervasive empty essence Dharmakaya. And this is quite profound, okay? Because if you understand what this is pointing at, you don't need any other practice, actually. If you can actually rest in this refuge here, you don't need anything else. In the all-pervasive, empty essence Dharmakaya, this is Karak. In the self-perfected, spontaneous, present nature, Sambhogakaya, Lundrup. In the manifest, effortless compassion, the emanated Nirmanakaya, this is the union of the two, right? Nirmanakaya. And the Guru who is the three Kayas. So like the actual, whoever your root Guru is, right? I take refuge. Ultimately, that's your own mind. This is talking about the nature of your mind. All pervasive, has no boundary. Empty essence, right? This empty essence that is all pervasive. That's the Dharmakaya when it's realized. Self-perfected, spontaneous. Remember what we said when you visualize, like words make you recall images that have energy, power, dynamism, color, movement. They're not located anywhere, but somehow this liveliness is there, right? This is and it can be anything. You can think of it, it can be anything. There's no limit to what it can manifest as. This is the spontaneous, self-perfected Sambhogakaya when it's realized. And then it says, in the manifest, effortless compassion. This means like you can think about the physical world, right? The actual like karmic vision we see. When this is purified, this arises from the empty essence and the play of this arises from like, yeah, empty space that is self-perfected and spontaneous, the spontaneous dynamism that arises. And it's seen in physical form through being's karma, right? And this is manifest now. The other ones are sort of unmanifest. It's like space-like. Now, when it manifests, this is effortless compassion when those other two things are realized. It just comes out as it should to benefit beings. This is an emanated Nirmanakaya. And all of these things are the three Kayas. There's no separation. There's no separate Kayas. They're just different aspects of how our ground nature manifests when it's fully realized. It says, I take refuge in that. This is quite deep. Even though we're visualizing Guru Rinpoche, even though we're thinking of deities and bodhisattvas, it's all pointing at the nature of your mind. What else can you actually take refuge in? How I said in the beginning, no physical thing will give you ultimate refuge. Actually, no Buddha, no teacher, no statue, no tanka, no sadhana, in and of themselves will give you any refuge. They will point you and lead you to the way of ultimate recognition and grant you this autonomy if you practice the words that they say and understand the meaning. But the ultimate refuge is your own condition when it's fully realized without any of these bakchaks arising, no outflows, right? Other than the spontaneous, natural present outflow that comes from the ground, your radiance, your own radiance. You take refuge in that. It's too much to, we can't believe it actually because we didn't recognize it enough. But this shows how this sadhana is an Ati Yoga Dzogchen path from the very get-go, from refuge in and of itself. If you understand this, you don't need any other part of the path. This is giving you the ultimate pointing out instruction, actually, right here, if you truly understand it. Not just intellectually, right? You embody it in your presence. Okay, so you recite this as much as possible. That's what you recite while you're doing prostrations. With one pointed intense yearning, so after you do that, you say this, with one pointed intense yearning, I shall give up the 9 activities of the 3 doors. Just in general, this just means like you give up all useless activity, okay? Of the 3 doors, body, speech, and mind. Whatever happiness and suffering may befall me, I will not look to any other means than the 3 jewels. We have the outer 3 jewels, inner 3 jewels, and here the refuge prayer is the secret 3 jewels. Ultimately, you don't look to anywhere else except those things, depending on where you're at in your view and meditation. You have to go between these things for inspiration. I take a firm vow not to give up. Uh, I take a firm vow not to give up, even for the sake of my life. Not to give up what? Not to give up trying to figure that out. Not to give up trying to come to awareness, awakening. Don't give up, Keep going. Then it says uh, at the end of the session, you'll say this prayer, okay? In Tibetan or English or both. Ho, may all sentient beings be endowed with happiness. It's a little bit different than the normal. May they be completely liberated from the ocean of cyclic suffering. May they never be separated from happiness that is free from suffering. Here, this is very kind of unique. And until awakening, may they remain inseparable from the complete field of refuge. Right? Actually, we don't dissolve. Uh, we don't dissolve this refuge field. Right? I didn't see anywhere where it says dissolve this refuge field. Usually in practice it says the field of refuge dissolves, and the beings go elsewhere, and then I rest. And it doesn't say that, right? It just says, until I'm completely awakened, may this refuge field be completely inseparable from me, and may I be inseparable from it. It means may you always recall, like Guru Rinpoche, at all times, and never be separate from, for example, Guru Rinpoche, since that's the essence of this refuge field. And there's nothing to dissolve, because this prayer right here is the ultimate refuge. You don't dissolve it. This is your condition. How do you dissolve this? All pervasive empty essence, Dharmakaya. Self-perfected, spontaneous, present nature, Sambhogakaya. Manifest, effortless compassion, Nirmanakaya. And the Guru, who is the 3 kayas, which is recognizing these 3 things without ever wavering. That's the real Guru. I take refuge. You don't dissolve this. You recognize this. You become that state. All right. So this is refuge. This is the practice of refuge in this sadhana. That's it. There's not much to elaborate on. You can go over and read everything and look up. We live in an age where we have unlimited access. So you can look up all the Vidyadharas of Tibet, Siddhas of India, look up if you want to know more about Hayagriva and Varahi, you can research a bit Hayagriva and Varahi and these things. You can look up all the names of the bodhisattvas. You can look up past, present, and future Buddhas that they talk about, Dipamkara, Shakyamuni, Maitreya. Yeah, you have enough capacity to research things. Uh, but this is the essence of refuge. Padmasambhava, understanding why we're taking this refuge and doing this prayer and understanding what it's pointing to. All right, so that's it from my side, I think. If there's any, hang on. Yeah, I mean, if anybody has any questions or wants to add something, feel free. Otherwise, we can do some dedication prayers. And
Can I ask a quick question?
yeah, yeah.
Is it common in Dzogchen sadhanas to not dissolve? Um, and then if so, do you just kind of like get up from your seat and like you're just like kind of supposed to be in that throughout the day?
Yeah, yeah. So ultimately, yes, we would try to kind of like maintain in it throughout the day doesn't mean you have to hold something, right? Right? You don't have to like hold the visualization. It just means like it's pointing to that your awareness is that already. Like that's what your awareness is. And yes, it's very common for sadhanas from Anu Yoga. Yeah, basically Anu Yoga and Ati Yoga sadhanas. A lot of times there's not a dissolution. We can even look, for example, when Rinpoche teaches, I'll give you two examples. So like Chakrasambhara sadhana, Sarma school. In the end, everything dissolves into the hum, right, right. Same thing. Hum, da 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 da. And then you re-arise at the end as the deity. Okay? Which has its own meaning. Or like in Yamantaka daily practice, you re-arise as Yamantaka. But the meaning, Gape Lama gave a great meaning. If you caught the teachings on the last day, on Monday, I'll say it again. I'll say what he said. But like, anyway, there's a re-arising, at least in words. Vajra Kila, when we practice Kila, we don't re-arise actually. It just says like everything dissolves, the mandala dissolves into the essence of the five wisdom lights in the Kila Sarana when you read it. You dissolve into the essence of the five wisdom lights. And what does that mean? This is talking about taking the five poisons and transforming them into the five wisdoms. This is what the wisdom lights are pointing at on one level, right? There's another level too, but so even in the Kila Sarana, this is an anu yoga level sadhana actually. So kind of from anu yoga up, a lot of times there's no re-arising. There might be dissolving, but it's not in the same context of like the home goes into the drop. It's like you kind of maintain your awareness, right? And then again, you re-arise as Kila, but in the end, you rest in your wisdom awareness. Re-arise as Kila, rest in wisdom awareness. Whereas in like Sarma schools, highest yoga tantra, it usually says re-arise as the deity. Or in Yamantaka, that's Maha Yoga, again, re-arise as Yamantaka. So like in general, that would be correct. You kind of maintain view. So like in Sewan Zimpa, it's the same thing. You don't, you just like, you're Sewan Zimpa, that's it. Sewan Zimpa has a similar prayer as this for refuge. It says, Hong, like self-aware Guru Kaya, radiant Sambhoga Kaya. Oh yeah, self-aware Guru Kaya, radiant Sambhoga Kaya, expressed Nirmana Kaya, refuge in three Kayas forms. This Guru Kaya is the Dharma Kaya. So you're like, it has the same kind of like connotation. Because it's an Anu Yoga sadhana, it's giving you the view. Anu Yoga has like methods for using the channels and winds, but its view is Dzogchen, very, very high view, you know. Same in this sadhana, because every at the end of every session, it's going to be similar. Like when you do Vajrasattva, similar. When we get into mandala, like mandala is not like normal mandala. It's just like three kaya mandala. So every session, even though it's like these are preliminary practices, they're all just like here's the view. Because the whole point of Dzogchen is like it's the view first. Here's the view. Like just go. The view is the path. Actually, we don't practice the path to come to the view. We're given the view and we take the view as the path and we come back over and over. The meditation is the view. You go into the view, because they consider everything else besides that view is subsidiary. It can be an ornament, it can like push you there, but the main point is the view. So it's always view. And that becomes your, so like, for example, your single pointedness, view, right? Like you think about like essence, nature, and compassion, for example. You can like go back to that single pointed. And like your vipassana, like view. Mingle with the feeling of that, right? And like uh when you're practicing deity yoga, view. What is the deity? The deity is the essence of Karak and Lundrup. Like just everything gets pushed into that some way or the other, right? So basically, like Gape Lama at the end of the Yamantaka teachings, because it's like rearises the two-arm form of Yamantaka. This is really good. I haven't heard many teachers like point at this. Usually we think, how I have to go about my day as two arms, as the deity. He said, no, no. It means when you recognize the illusory nature of all phenomena, you maintain the view of the illusory-like open spaciousness of all phenomena, right? Awareness, emptiness, whatever, however you want to say it, compassion, emptiness, bliss, emptiness. Maintain that, that's the deity. That's what it means to like re-arise as a deity. The deity is, deities don't exist as form. The form is only through our karmic vision, right? So even the Maha Yoga points at that, right? So blah, 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 right?
Yeah, I have a quick question.
Yeah.
I don't know if you said this already, but can you just give a little teaching on how I can avoid doing as many prostrations as possible? Like, just like,
That's
you
the
know.
best question I've ever heard. How can I avoid doing prostrations? Very easy. Just don't do them, you know?
Well, like I'm busy. I have other sadhanas. I'm kind of fat. Like, I have a metal
Yeah.
bar in my femur.
Yeah.
So, like, how do I like really, like, okay, so I do 10
Yeah, yeah,
prostrations or
whatever,
like,
literally like whatever you can like muster your devotion to do. It doesn't like can you pull off three prostrations, you know?
yeah.
Yeah, symbolically, like do three prostrations.
And then you do the rest of the like then you repeat the prayer kind of like as a mantra, trying to
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
focus on the intention.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, exactly. So
And you're
basically like the visualization that's given in the sadhana that says like, enemies in front, family to the right and left, all six beings behind, Guru Rinpoche is in front of you, right? However elaborate you want to make the refuge field. Like you say the prostration while holding that feeling, intent, or visualization. You do the prostration, whatever, one time, three times, 1 billion times, whatever it is. Then you sit, you accumulate that prayer over and over, right? And as much as that feeling visualization you can hold, you do that. You can visualize like the entire universe, like doing prostrations with you. And the thing is like in Dzogchen teachings, Mahamudra stuff too, but like Dzogchen views, like don't hold on to things. Just like you build it, you say it, you mingle with it, and that's it. You keep your you keep your awareness into the meaning, but don't fixate so much on like I can't visualize people on the right and left. It's hard to visualize people in the front, or the visualization drops. So it like doesn't matter. If it comes back, it comes back. If it goes away, it goes away. It doesn't matter at all. The main thing is just like you say the prayer and you mingle with this like state, because like how it says spontaneous presence. It's spontaneous. It doesn't mean like it's always like this. Spontaneous is like sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. So we don't fixate so strongly on like having to hold something. But in the beginning, you build it up through reading it. You've already kind of set the intention, then you do the prayer, and like whatever happens, happens. I mean, you don't think about like, 3 weeks from now or like, what I'm doing later that night. Like you need to come back to the intent and focus of the prayer, but like it's not so important like this exact visualization, all the details. So yeah, it doesn't matter. Like one,
So, so then, like some teachers will talk about the prostrations as kind of like a physical purification of your channels.
yeah,
Like, is
definitely.
that true, or they just kind of say that?
No, no, it's
Like,
it's true in one part. So like in the fivefold path of Mahamudra, we have five sections of refuge, right? And if you don't like prostrations, never do the Drikung fivefold nundra because it's refuge 2 times at minimum, 3 times if you really want to do it original way. So it's like you can say like if even if it's just 4 sections of refuge, it's like body, speech, mind, and then quality and activities are purified. Or if it's fivefold, it's like body, speech, mind, qualities, activities. Because Drikung adds like bodhicitta is the fifth. Body, prostrations. Speech, vajrasattva. Mantra, purification of like inner energies. Mind, mandala. Qualities, guru, right? Activity, bodhicitta. So each section actually sets the tendril or plants the seed through merit to purify those things. Uh, but you can think like even doing one prostration and visualizing prostrations is connected to your body. Even sitting, like even just sitting for practice is purification of your body, right? And Dzogchen stuff, it's not as like there's channel practices in Anu Yoga, but again, like the intent of this practice, the words go directly to the meaning, right? So it's not as emphasized. But yeah, definitely like the teachings do correspond to that. So it's like you do 100,000 prostrations, yeah, like even if you think of channels as like your tendons, your blood vessels, your lymph system, your heart, the power of your heart, right? To like vortex blood, not pump. I'm gonna stop saying pump blood. I just listened to something. The heart doesn't actually pump. It squeezes in like a vortex type motion and it has a frequency to it. It's like the blood flowing. It has a magnetic output frequency and energy, not like like literally you can like feel, you can register the field of your heartbeat. It's more like a vortex, so it doesn't pump, it spirals. It makes a suction spiral to your body. So if you think of it in that way, it's very connected to channels and winds, right? It's not just boom 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 boom. It's this constant motion of like spiraling vortex energy field, like a frequency that's going off. So yeah, if you do prostrations, yeah, your body's stretching, you're kind of massaging your limb channels, and okay, think about even when you see like true core exercises, right? This is like, oh, you always see the move, rub the arm. If you go to a doctor and say, what is, or go to YouTube even and go draining the exercises that drain the lymph nodes. This is all draining your lymph nodes, actually. They didn't look at anything about Tibetan Shulkor. But in Truecore, it's like purification of the channels. You do all these things. So your channels are directly connected with your physical body as well. It just gets more subtle, more subtle, more subtle, more subtle. So the outer channels are actually your, arteries, capillaries, nervous systems, like, yeah, all like your nerve network. The bindu is your blood, your lymph, all the liquids in your body, right? And the wind is like your breath and the movement of all those things. Outer, inner, secret, it gets more subtle. So yes, it does, but so does walking. Like if you walk and say mantra, like you're connecting your body with like speech and that, right? And view-wise, if you just remember your body is the mandala, it doesn't mean like it turns into a round disc, right? Your body is the mandala of the deities, which means that like you have this dynamic potential in you, right? And it's always there. Like if you recall that, you're always purifying your body. Like when you drink and you eat and you say like omahong, 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 even that simple. Kagakahi kahi. Like just some simple offering to your body. Like you're making a connection with the body at a level that's like now tantra, right? You're integrating tantra to your body. Main thing is recollection. If you remember and recall and place that intent in your own sphere, then this purification of the body happens. Channels will get purified. And even doing mantra. When you do mantra, if you connect it with like the in and out breath, right? Om mani padme hum, om mani padme hum. Hold Om mani padme hum. Breathe out Om mani padme hum. Or just Om mani padme hum, Om mani padme. Then when you breathe in Om mani padme hum, Om mani padme hum, or whatever, Omahong, 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 Omahong. If you connect this breathing cycle with the mantra, then now you're also purifying this channels in a bit deeper way. Even just saying the mantra is purifying channels because you're visualizing it somewhere. So like there's movement going on. Yeah, good, cool. Okay, all right. Then we can do dedication prayers. Let me share the screen. If I can get this mouse to work. There we go. Just start with long life. For this realm encircled by snow-covered mountains, you are the source of all benefit and happiness without exception. Tenzin Gyatso, Lord Chenrezig, may your life remain steadfast until the end of samsara. Embodiment of the three jewels, great being who upholds and increases the teachings of the Shakya lion, you perfectly guide others with your excellent deeds. May you, the precious guru who accomplishes everything spontaneously, live long. Holder of the teachings of Lord Drikungpa, great sovereign of the three jewels, through the power of your peerless compassion and the holy Dharma's peaceful light, you bring relief to beings. May your life be long. Known in the noble land as Aryadeva, you emanated into the Gar clan of eastern Tibet as Chodingpa, the heart son of Jigten Gompo. May the life of glorious Garchen remain steadfast for 100 aeons. May the teachings of the great Drikungpa Radna Shri, Master of Interdependence, omniscient Lord of the Dharma, who has seen all knowable things, be upheld through teachings and practice, through hearing, reflecting, and meditating until the end of existence. And then I will read for Tendril the dedication prayer from Dechen Nyingpo, which at some point in the future we'll practice. So auspiciousness and then dedication aspiration. Hom Shri. From the expanse of the unelaborated Dharmakaya arise the magical manifestations of the unceasing Sambhogakaya. Through the play of unlocalized compassion, in all of existence, peace, samsara, and nirvana, may auspicious goodness pervade the three realms. May perfect accumulation of merit and wisdom bring auspiciousness. May the teachings of the luminous Vajraheart essence remain as all-pervasive as the sky. Namo. Contemplating the divine assembly of the three roots, all the virtues I have amassed through the three doors, by body, speech, and mind, without leaving out myself or others, any and all beings, I dedicate in the expanse of bodhicitta, the heart of awakening. May all the bases of delusion for every being be utterly exhausted. Seeing the face of self-knowing Buddhahood, may I be liberated into the vast expanse of Samantabhadra's openness. May one taste arise in great total openness. Okay, so that is it. And then we'll meet in, I don't know, another 2 weeks or so, something like that, and go on to the next section. So this is recorded. If anybody wants recording, we can pass it on as well. All right, thank you. I appreciate everybody joining. I'm happy to practice together. And no matter how much you practice, it doesn't matter. You practice what you can. Main thing is, Rinpoche said, open this cycle up for those who have interest, and that's what we're doing. And I'm just happy that that's really that Organ Rigzen Newton Dorje's teachings are kind of opening up a bit. He's super important teacher, Turtan, lineage holder, and Drikung, and it's really nice that this cycle can be as opened up, as vast as the sky behind Heather.
What was that Newton Dorje prayer and supplication prayer in the beginning that you did?
I can send it later. It's partially it's recalls the life of Newton Dorje, some of his past lives, and then it's a few things I inserted. So it's a mix of like from his long life prayer. I mean, from his life story. In the beginning, there's a section that gives like a praise, and uh, then I added a couple words in there. So basically, it says. Gyaghyar Jakpe Unani is like in the land of India, you are known as the Vidyadhara Sri Singha. That's Kyoni Rigzen Sri Singha. Guru Pema Japki Og is like at the feet of Guru Rinpoche. Tukse Nyang Tinzing Zampo is like you are the heart son. You are known as the heart son, Tinzing Zampo. Dear Tendrola Palbar Ang Zodun Zimpe Sen Yin Yang. You have like you are the one you have great realization and you are like the holder of the seven treasuries of like Terma teachings. Pema Jung Sung Se Sudrak. This is you are kind of the son of Padma's speech. You're the son of Padma's speech. Then a few things I added, which it says Shinje Shedang Nampan Yin. You are inseparable from Yamantaka, actually. And it's like Newton Dorje is like heart Yidam from past lives. And it says you, Organ Newton Dorje, you emanate with great your great emanation, you emanate supremely, and you are known as Guru Chamchak Haruka, like you are the supreme Guru Haruka, Uh, then like kind of all of to all of the retinue and students, like grant us the with through your compassion or grant your compassion and blessings. It's like that, yeah. I can send you the prayer. It's a nice prayer. Okay. All right. Thank you. Everybody be well, and we'll catch up soon.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Long
Okay.
life.
Goodbye,
Thank you.
everybody. Yeah, see you soon.